Hi everyone, hope you've enjoyed the day so far. I think we've had some amazing speakers and great content and so many more great speakers to come. But thank you so much for joining this session. I will be sharing my insights on digital transformation and how I think we can move the accounting industry forward in a more meaningful way. So a little bit about me. My name is Eriona, and fun fact, some of the most difficult question that I get asked is, so Eriona, what do you do? Well, not quite sure. There's a couple of things up there. I've managed to reduct it a little bit. But I think some of my most important roles are I'm Managing Director of Majors Accounts & Co., which is a family-run accountancy business based in Southeast London. And I have most recently founded Vault Digital Transformations, which helps take accountants and bookkeepers on the digital transformation journey, just with the help of having someone who's been there, done that, and literally experienced and done everything I should and shouldn't have throughout that process. I think we all talk about, and we hear people talking about work smarter, not harder. As a mother of two, that's something that I live by. And I think it's so important in this day and age with everything that is changing. And we've got so many things hitting us from all angles, whether it's change in legislation, whether it's tech that clients are used to using in their day-to-day lives and they expect a certain level of service from us as well. But throughout all of my roles, being able to work with accountants, bookkeepers, founders, fintech, and future leaders in this space really kind of helps me to understand what it is that is changing and what we can do for business owners and ourselves. So Majors Accounts, we were founded in 2006, as Johan mentioned, founded by my father. I was there at the age of 13, obviously because I wanted to, not because I was forced to be there, doing the bookkeeping manually. We grew pretty quickly. At our peak, we were servicing over 3,000 clients. When I say we were a traditional firm, we were as traditional as you could get. So our clients took every method and means of transport to come and see us to bring their bag of paperwork. So if they were in Ireland, they would take a plane. If they were in the Isle of Wight, they'd take a boat, and everything else in between. But during this time, it meant that we were working 7 days a week. There was a point when my dad was working for 14 years, 7 days a week. We were on holiday, and if we were in the car, we had to be quiet because he was taking a phone call. So having a business and being a business owner, you just start to think, what's the point if this is what I'm doing day in, day out? So our digital transformation journey started just before 2017, and I saw that actually there is something that we could do that's completely different and provide a new service for our clients. In that time, we went through a lot of struggles, which I will go through in a second, but it was so worth it because when COVID came around, we didn't just survive, we were thriving through that time where many accountants were struggling with all the new legislations and things that were being thrown at us every single day, this thing called furlough. I mean, who even knew how to say it, let alone what needed to be done? But also just being there for our clients who did not know what they could do to ensure that their businesses could be kept open and could keep trading. So the technology allowed us to be there for them. It wasn't a case of we're going to adopt technology so we don't need to do anything. No, it meant that we were there every step of the way. Now we have a business that runs for us, not the other way around. I wouldn't be able to be here or do anything else with the way that it used to be run. And it was successful, it was profitable, it was working. It just wasn't giving us time to live our lives. We were literally working enslaved to the business. And after COVID, we decided to reduce our client base. So we went from 3,000 to just under 1,000 clients. And we have clients that are so much happier and they're willing to pay us more and they love the way that we work with them because they see the value in us being available to them. So I'm going to go through some things, what I've learned and what I'm learning with other firms that I'm helping go through this process in digitalizing. Step one, and which is the most important step, if you are going to start on your digital transformation journey, make sure that you've decided you definitely will do it. Not, I'll dabble in it, I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, see how it goes, and then we'll decide what we do further down the line. Make a decision. Why are you digitalising? Is it because you want to provide a better service? Is it because you want your life back? Is it because you want your team to stick around longer and ensure that they're using the latest cutting-edge technology and can say to their friends, well, yeah, we do this at our firm, we're doing something completely different and actually what we studied for. It could be all of that, but make that decision and go for it. Don't dabble in it and just put one foot in. You have to go in fully, otherwise don't do it at all. I've got a friend who started the digital process, and a few years ago, he did a bit of this, a bit of that, and he came back to me and said, Eriona, this is worse than I was before. Of course, your business will be fragmented because your processes are stuck in the traditional, more manual way and digital, which don't marry up together, and everything becomes so much worse, and you start losing efficiency, losing money, staff getting frustrated, and clients not understanding, well, did you want me to use tech or do you want me to bring my paperwork in? I'm confused. Next step, once you have decided we're definitely doing this, is document your processes. The amount of firms that I go into, and we were definitely in the same boat, none of our processes were documented because everyone just knows what they're doing, right? A team member knows that we've had these processes from day one, they just follow them, which is fine. But then as time goes on, you start to see why things not as efficient as they were before, because the team will start to deviate from whatever it is that you have put in place, because they think, well, actually, if I do it this way, I'll be faster. So one person has one way of doing things, and another has another way. And you'll get to a point where no one actually knows what should we be doing properly. And when it comes to training new staff, they better be listening hard when they're getting trained on the job, because there's nowhere else that they can reference. If they get confused, they will have to go to somebody else to help them. Therefore, you're relying on just your team. If you don't have your team, things get pretty difficult. But once you've put all of your processes in order, you can also see, well, actually, where are we being inefficient here? Have we got gaps that we need to improve? And with that, you can then start to look at which tech replaces those processes that you have, and which tech do we need to get to improve what we're doing currently. But you can't choose the software if you don't know how you're working. So making sure you have that in place is super, super important. Now, once you've chosen the software, and what took us so long, is digitizing everything. So with our firm, we had a team of 25, all in one office space. Half of the office was with people, and the other half was with paperwork. And in that room with paperwork, you couldn't really get in. We were walking like this to try and get in and take paperwork out. But apart from that, we also had a storage unit that was full to the brim with paperwork. We did need to go through, scan, and shred all of that information. But once you've done that, it is a massive job. But once it's done, you've got everything in a digital format, which you can then use to implement, to upload all of that information into all of the different technology. Therefore, you can access your information from anywhere. And for GDPR reasons, at least you have it in certain software that can be locked away, two-factor authentication, but also being able to share information with clients. Something like a document management system, you don't need to go through and say, yep, 1 second, let me just go through my file, I'll send you this, or HMRC comes knocking, and you're looking for whatever it is that they're asking for. It's all there in one place. So digitizing and uploading onto your systems, and ideally have someone that is in charge of this to make sure that it does keep going. We had someone working full-time on this for a year. So when I talk about we had a lot of paperwork, we had a lot. Now is the next step, training and onboarding and training clients. There's a huge misconception when going digital. Everyone thinks my clients are going to be so against this, they're going to be the hardest part of this whole thing. They're really not. They're actually the easiest part of the whole process. The most difficult part of it is going to be getting your team on board. You need to convince them why you're doing this, how it's going to help their roles and the future that they have at the firm. You need to ensure you spend enough time and a lot of time on training and retraining all of your team to make sure that they're using the software in the best possible way. You need to allow them to make mistakes. And once they've got the data in the software, they can see what it looks like whilst they're working. So they're not imagining with some fake data. One thing I will say is that fintech, all of these startups, and if they're not, then should you really be using them, but all of them provide you with free training because they want you to go on board, to use their platforms, to make a difference to your business, so then hopefully as you grow, you use more of their softwares, right? Take advantage of that. We did with absolutely every single software. And it could be that in 3 months' time, your team need retraining because they know how to use the software. They've used it for maybe 3 to 6 months. They're comfortable with it, but they didn't understand everything that they were training for when they first started because it was all kind of going over their head, all this new tech, I don't know what to absorb first. Go through and do a second level of training. That's where they will pick up those small nuggets of information. Okay, if we do this, it will completely change how I thought we should be doing things. So that's super, super important. Once your team are trained and on board, they then can help train your clients. Now with your clients, the way that I have found the best way to get them on board is there are 3 types of clients. Those that use technology in their day-to-day life, they won't really mind the change. So with them, an email with a link and maybe a video of how to use the software is enough. Then you've got the clients who use some technology kind of reluctantly. You know, they may get on board but need a bit more of a push, so sending them that email with a follow-up phone call to talk them through it usually does the job. And then you've got those clients who will say categorically no. If you do this, I'm leaving. This is what I had a lot of my clients say. No one else is doing this. We don't want to use technology. If you're making me send you information using the tech, then what's your job? What are you doing? I could do all this myself. They're the people that you need to bring into the office or to see in person. So we had one particular client, he had 7 businesses with us, and he said, I am leaving, I'm taking everything with me because you want me to do your work. So I arranged a meeting with him, he came, he gave me all the no. I said, do you mind if I borrow your phone? He's like, yeah, sure. I downloaded all the apps that I needed, I showed them what I did, I showed him on my screen what happened, and I said, what part of this was accounting? He was like, no, you just took a picture, that was it. So I was like, if you can do this, you know when you're at the shop and you are buying something, can you do this for me rather than spending a day a month or more to come down and see us to bring that paperwork, which you have to look and ask all of your team where all the paperwork is to then bring it to us. Do you think that would save your time? It clicked in his head and he said, oh my gosh, is this all I need to do? Yes, sign me up for all of them. So there's a different approach to who you've got in front of you. So you need to know your client base and know who and what techniques you're going to be using to take them on that journey with you. And trust me, there will not be any reluctance. I think we had one client who said, I've just come in this time, but next time I'm definitely going to use, next quarter I'm going to use your software. I said, sure, sit down, I'm going to charge you £300 just to scan that information. And next time, if you send it to me, I'm going to send it right back. And do you know what? He said, do you know, don't worry, I'm going to test it out because it looked pretty cool. I'm going to go home and do it tonight. I was like, yeah, you do that. Great. So clients will definitely get on board, just knowing how to communicate with them. Then monitoring. So you've gone through the process, you've digitized, you've got your team on board, you've got your clients on board. Everything is working well. When you start this process, it's not a case of, I'm going to start the process and then I'm done. I've digitized, I don't need to do anything else. We digitized years ago, and I am always on the lookout for new software that I think can improve the processes we have in place. Now, that means that you will need to be open to changing constantly. It's not something that you're going to change all the time, but you have to be open to knowing that, okay, if I change this particular part of my process, it will amplify what we're doing and make us even more efficient to give us capacity then to do something else, whether that is to upsell to current clients, whether it's to take on new clients, whether it's to say, actually, I don't want to work full time. I don't want to work every single day. You know, whatever it is, but you have to be open to the changes. And let's face it, everyone is going to get to this point at some point. So how are you going to keep that competitive edge? You always need to be on the lookout for the next kind of technology. The other thing is repricing. It's so important. We had one client before we were digital, came to us and said, how many clients do you have? We said we have nearly 3,000 at that point. And what are you going to charge me? We told them our fee. He took his paperwork and said, see you later. We're like, why? He said, there is no way with that fee and that number of clients that you're going to be available for me. If I have a query, you're not going to have time to take my phone call. So he went somewhere else that was charging him triple of what we were charging him. So the value for him was us being available to speak to him and to answer whatever it is whenever he needed our help. This is what the technology and the digital transformation journey will give you. It's that capacity. It's not a case of, I'm going to go digital, so I don't need to work, I don't need as many staff. No, it's the kind of service that you can give to your clients changes completely. And the misconception is that I'm going to add technology, so then I don't need to deal with clients. No, you're going to add the technology in order to speak to clients more. Since then, every week I go out and see different clients across the country. I love it because I get to see actually what are they passionate about. And whilst I'm seeing them in their element, I know what they need from me, not what they ask, because I can see what it is that they need. There is no way I would have had this opportunity or this time before we were digital. So repricing, it's understanding the value that you're giving to your clients and being confident in that and being available is super important. So what's Vault Digital Transformation? After having gone through all that process with Majors accounts, what I have found is, and what's super important, is that we are giving the business owner's life back. I was able to do other things. I can do school pickup, drop off. I work just in between, but I can do so many other things apart from working in my accountancy practice. And there are so many firm owners that I speak to who say, I actually want to give up. What is the point? And I was in that place as well. I just thought, I've been working so hard to get to this point. I've been studying and I had to go through qualifications. For what? I'm working 24/7 and I feel like no one appreciates what I'm doing. And it's just super hard work. But actually now with the technology, now I'm doing the fun stuff, speaking to clients and understanding what their goals are and then getting involved in, well, based on my financial background, I know that you can do X, Y, Z. So it's helping business owners, for me personally, seeing how they will change their lives. Obviously the digital element, the efficiencies and profitability and all of that comes with it. But just seeing business owners, and when I say that, I mean accountants and bookkeepers, get their life back and actually enjoy what we are doing. Our mission is bold. So we are rebranding the accounting industry. And what I mean by that is, when I go into a room and I say I'm an accountant, people say, oh, really? That sounds fun, doesn't it? Well, actually, it is. With the technology that we have nowadays, we can do so much for businesses. We can help them excel, whichever goal they have. We can be involved in that process to accelerate it. But no one talks about that. Everyone talks about accounting. It's just doing some books and that's it. And you have to pay, they make you pay tax. It's nothing actually what we get to do. Imagine we are in a position where we are allowed for free to be able to question entrepreneurs why they do what they do, to find out what works, what doesn't, to then take those learnings that we get from them and help other business owners to do the same thing. Who else gets to do that for free? I think it's such an amazing place to be, but no one talks about it like this. And the way that we want to do that is we want to work with students and with talent to show them actually what the accounting industry is about, because we know both of these are declining. There are less students joining the accounting industry, and there's a huge talent shortage. And even those that go through the qualifications, they say, do you know what, that doesn't look so good, so I'm just going to go do something else. We need to show entrepreneurs the actual value of an accountant or bookkeeper. What can we do to help increase kind of their business, become more profitable, or just achieve their goals? And the licensing bodies to show them that actually if we work together, we can elevate the industry as a whole, but also the government. We are the backbone of all these businesses. They need to know what an accountant or bookkeeper can really do and the effect that we have on them. So today is a thank you for all of you guys that are here. There will be an exclusive discount for anyone who wants to go on this journey. Feel free to reach out to me. There's the QR code there that's been on every slide as well that you can use to contact me. You can also contact me here. I'm going to be hanging around the admin stand, so if you want to come have a chat, please feel free. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this talk, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.